Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. So today we are going to discuss on modal verbs. These verbs are used to express your ability, permission, and necessities, and also possibilities. Okay, let's jump straight into the video. So, as I said earlier, modal verbs are used to express ability. What is ability? Nothing but the strength you have to do something, okay? The capacity you have to do something, do any action, okay? And permission, we all know what a permission is. So, that thing, I mean, the action is going to happen only when there is a positive reply when you ask for a permission, okay? And necessities, which are actions that are supposed to happen, okay, no matter what it it is supposed to happen. And there are possibilities, which means that the action may happen or may not happen. Okay, it's just like the probability of any action happening is your possibilities. And these verbs, okay, these modal verbs, they do not change their forms unlike other verbs. For example, you have be verbs which has different forms. For present tense you have is, am, are, and for past tense you have was, were. And if you want to introduce be as a continuous form of verb, then you use being. So a verb typically has different forms, okay, uh, to show tenses, to show when it actually happened. But modal verbs remain the same, okay, and these verbs are always followed by verb in its first form. Okay, the verb should always be in its first form, and these verbs do not change their forms. Okay, let's look at the examples. First one, you have I can swim, which means I have the capacity to swim. Okay, I am able to swim. That shows your ability. And next is you must study. Maybe you have an exam tomorrow, and if you don't study, you would fail. So in this scenario, you are supposed to study. That is, it's kind of like a rule telling you that you have to study. Okay, and there are permissions, which maybe you're in an office and you want to leave early to home. So this action, okay, this action is asking for permission if you can continue going home early today. So in order to be polite and you're in an office environment, you are supposed to be a little bit formal. In those scenarios, you would be asking, may I leave early? So moral verbs are nothing but helping verbs, and again, as we said earlier, these expresses possibility, necessity, and obligation. And modal verbs are used with verbs in its first form, in its present form. You cannot use modal verbs with past or future tenses. And unlike other verbs, if we are using with third person, we actually add s to the verb, right? But here we'll not be having adding any s for third person nouns. So they would exist as they are. And in order to make negative sentences, you just have to add not to a modal verb. For example, she can swim means she has the ability to swim. But when we say she cannot swim, which means she doesn't have the ability to swim. Okay, it's the negative sentence, and in order to turn the sentence negative, you just have to add not. Okay, not to your modal verb. So first, let's take a look at modal verbs of possibility and ability. Okay. First is your ability, which means, as I explained earlier, it means that a capacity or the strength of someone to do something or not. Okay. So yes, can. It shows your present or future ability. When I say I can swim, if you throw me into the water at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, I still can swim, right? It shows my present or future ability. And she can finish the project by tomorrow. Again, shows the ability of her. She is quite capable of finishing the project by tomorrow. And for could means a past ability. If I say I could swim, which means I could swim in the past, and you throw me into the water now, I cannot swim. Okay, so that is your past ability. You have an example. I could run fast when I was a child. Now I'm old. I cannot run fast anymore. Okay, so it shows my past ability. And in order to make polite requests, we also use could. Okay, could you help me with this task? Which means you're being very nice to the other person and asking for his help. And you have other informal situations where you can also use can to ask certain questions. For example, you're in a and friends group and you want to go and hang out with them, so you just give them a call, or you there is a group and you just go there and everyone are sitting, and in that scenario, if you want to sit down with them, you can just say, can I sit down? You don't have to be pretty formal over here, right? But when you are in a business environment, when you are maybe in your school or college, okay, where obedience and discipline plays a major role. You cannot go and say, can I do this? It's kind of informal over there. You will have to use may in order to be formal, and in order to be formal. So you have an example, may I sit down? Okay. So next is your verb for possibility, which means the action may happen, okay, or may not happen. Okay, so using may or might means it is a weak possibility. There is a more chance that this action may not happen. Okay, that is what we mean by weak possibility. So, for example, it may rain later. Okay, there is this 40% chance of raining, maybe. Okay, and she might be late for the meeting. Okay, might means may has higher chance, might has lesser chance than may. Okay, maybe let's put a number to it. Let's say may means there is the 70% chance of it happening, and might means it only has like 40% of chance for the action to happen. Okay, but both means there is this possibility of certain action to happen or not. So next you have your modal verbs of necessity and obligation. Necessity is nothing but both are same, yes. Obligation is your duty that it must be fulfilled, and necessity is also means that this action is supposed to happen. Okay, so where do we use must? Must is especially used for rules that cannot be, overruled. And if you don't follow them, you would have to face certain repercussions. For example, traffic rules. You must obey the traffic rules, and if you don't, then you would be penalized. Yes, so that is when you use must. For example, you must wear a seatbelt. Again, traffic rules. I must finish this report before 5 p.m. If that person doesn't finish the report, then she will have to answer the boss. Okay, these are the places where you use must, where the rules are pretty strong and you cannot shake it. Whereas have to has a little bit of lethargy to it. Okay, still it is supposed to be followed, but when compared to must, have to can be a little bit liberalized. So yeah, here you can see that students have to wear a uniform. Yeah, students are supposed to wear a uniform, and maybe you have your birthday, So in that scenario, you can wear your, formals or something that is not your uniform. You have to submit your homework by Monday. Again, it's a requirement, and the repercussions are quite lower when um, compared to other rules which you write using must. Okay, still it doesn't mean when you say have to that action uh, can be taken easily and the other person cannot do it. It is not like that. It is just to say yes, you have to do it. Okay, on a less serious note. That's it. And next, you have your advice and expectation. Okay. So when you want to advise someone, you might have advised your juniors, your seniors, your family members, telling that they are supposed to do something. Okay. In those scenarios, we would use should, right? You should do your MBA from so and so university. You should wake up early. You should exercise early. These are all your expectations, right? So, yes, let's start with shall. Shall is used for future plans and formal offers. Okay, so future plans means like I am telling someone that I shall be going to a different city next month. Okay, I shall be moving to a different city next month. So here I'm just expressing my future plan to someone. Okay, and yes, and formal being requesting someone for a lunch or requesting someone to go somewhere with you in order to in order to express that in a more formal way, shall is used. For example, shall we go for lunch? Okay, shall we go for a coffee? Shall we go for a walk? Okay, just you are offering someone in a polite way so that you could take them somewhere or maybe to do something. Okay, and should, as we discussed earlier, yes, should is used to uh, you know for advices, and it is also used for expectation, as we see in the second sentence. He should be here by 5 p.m., which means I am expecting that person to be here by 5 p.m. Okay, and yes, in those scenarios also you can use should. Okay, so here you have can, could, may, would. Okay, we have already discussed when we are supposed to use can, could, may. And these four modal verbs can also be used for making a request. Okay, for making a request and also for seeking permission. Okay, when you say can, then it means you are in a friendly environment, you are hanging out with your friends, the environment is completely informal. That is when you can use can I go outside, can I borrow your book? You can ask, can I borrow your book, to a friend, not a colleague. Okay, so your colleague, if colleague means you are in a business environment, there you are supposed to be formal and more polite. So if you are in those kind of business environments, then you may use could. Okay, could I borrow your book? Okay, and to ask for permissions, you may use may. May I leave early? Okay, may I come 10 minutes late to the office today? Okay, I'm stuck in traffic or something. Okay, and making a request, again, you may use can and could. Can you help me with this in informal environments? And to be more polite, you may use could. Could you pass me the salt? Okay. And would is like the most polite way of asking. If I could scale it, I mean, yes, I have. In the next slide, I have it for you. So, would is the most polite way. Okay, when you want to take someone for a lunch or something, you can ask them, would you care joining me for lunch? Would you like to have some coffee with me? Okay, would is like the most polite way. So here you can see that it is kind of like a scale starting from, can, it is less polite, and will is also less polite. And then you have could, which is polite, and would is the most polite way. Okay, I have some examples for you. Can you lend me your book? Can you give me a hat? You use all of this in a, uh, when you are hanging out with your friends, or when you're hanging out in an informal environment. And then you have will. Okay, will you get the dough for me, please? Will you make a copy of this essay for me? Okay, again, this is also a less polite way to ask someone, but if it is your friends, you needn't be that polite, right? So yes, when you're hanging out in informal environments, you can use can or will, and could is used in official environments where you cannot come across as rude. Okay, so you have to be polite in asking for help, and those cases you might use could, and the most polite way is to use would. Could you please bring me more coffee? Could you lend me your car for the day? Or to be most polite, you can use would you please turn on the light? Would you help me carry these bags? And next you have your modal verbs of deduction and prediction. Okay. Uh, Deduction means nothing but you making a wild guess. Okay, making a wild guess, but the certainty of that guess being true is, it has uh, higher logic. Okay, the certainty of that guess being true is, it is a result of a logical outcome. Okay, maybe that your dad leaves for work at 10 a.m. and he returns home at 7 p.m. And maybe your neighbor asks you at 12 p.m. about your dad's whereabouts. You know that your dad will not be at home from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. because he will be at his work, right? So there is this strong certainty. Okay, you still aren't 100% sure. Okay, I mean, you are kind of sure, 99.999%. Maybe that day might be a sick day for him or something like that. But you know that usually 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. he is in his office. In those scenarios, you answer the neighbor that, okay, it's 12 p.m., dad will not be at home, he must be at work. Okay, in those scenarios, when you're taking a logical guess, because as part of the routine, as part of your routine, dad will not be at home from 10 to 7 p.m., so you come to a logical conclusion that he must be at work now. Okay, so and you are pretty sure about it. Okay, and can't is used to say that, you know there is this strong impossibility. Okay, she can't be the thief, which means you are pretty sure that she is not the thief. Okay, the possibility of that action happening is like 99.99% not true. That is what it means when we say strong impossibility. Okay, and then we have predictions. Predictions are nothing but we are talking about our future. So where you use will and would. Okay, will is used to uh, you know define the future action. I mean, it is the action that will take place. Okay, that will take place, which means it is going to happen for sure. So an example of that is I'll call you later, which means maybe I'm busy now, but I will make a call to you later. And would is used for hypothetical situations. Please don't come at me telling that, okay, hypothetical situations. No, would is used for future also, to make request also. Yes, would has a lot of different usages. But here I have taken a hypothetical situation where would could be used. For example, I would travel if I had more time, which means I don't have time now. But if I had more time, okay, hypothetically, I know I everyone is given only 24 hours a day, but if I had 27 hours, then I would travel. Okay, so it can also be used in hypothetical situations. That is what I mean. And yeah, here you can see the surety, you know, the percentage of or the likelihood of using certain words so that there is higher possibility of certain actions to happen. So first one, you can see that if you are using must, then there is this surety of 90 to 100% that that action is true. Okay. So for example, she must be in the garden, which means I am sure that she is in the garden, and they must know each other. Okay. And can't. Okay. You are sure that the sentence is not true. Again, same 90 to 100%. She can't be his mother. Okay, she's too young. You look at someone and you see she's like 15 or 14, and they call I mean they say that she has a son or daughter, and you cannot believe it because she looks very young, and you are pretty sure that she cannot be his mother. Okay, and he just left. He can't be too far. Okay, so someone might have left your home like 1 minute, like before 1 minute, and when someone asks you where is he, so you just say he has just left. He can't be too far. So how far a person could go in 1 minute? Okay, so you are pretty sure that the sentence is not true. Okay, and may or might is used to you know used in sentences where the chances of it happening is like 30 to 50 percentage. Okay, so in positive sentence you can say he may be dead, which means yeah, he may be dead for like 30 to 50 percentage. Still it's not true. And he may not be dead, which means that it is a negative sentence, right? And if uh, and if it is a negative sentence, it has 30 to 50 percentage chance of it happening. And using cannot and mustn't. For example, you can say he just left. He must not be too far. That is wrong. Okay, because must not is used for scenarios where the sentence you are sure that it is true, and cannot is used for negative sentences where the action you are sure that the action cannot be true. Okay, that is the major difference over here. And may or might instead of can is also wrong. Okay, here when you talk about possibility, then you must be using may or might. But when you talk about ability, then you must be using uh, can. Okay, he can be at home means okay, it means the ability of him being at home. No, we are not talking about ability over here. We are just telling that, okay, he's not here, he is somewhere else, and there is this 30 to 50% chance of him being at home. Okay, and yes, so that's it for today's session. You have your activity now, and hope you had understood everything that was taught today. So put it in practice. Please do put it in practice. Only then you would get the clarity, and you would become very fluent in using those words. Okay. So these are your questions. I have 5 questions for you. I'm not going to help you solve the first one because it's pretty simple. You can do it on your own, and I have the answers in the next slide. So please don't cheat. Pause the video. Take a look at the sentences, and then just you know analyze the sentence. Okay, should I be using can or must? Should I be using may or should? What is the environment I should be using this in, okay, analyze all these scenarios and then choose the answer. Okay. So if you've got any suggestions, if you have any feedbacks on the class, please do write it on the comment section. And yeah, please reach out to Blossom English Academy if you have any further doubts or you have any inquiry about the courses we offer. Okay. So yes, these are the answers. And thank you so much for listening to my class today. And have a good rest of the day. Thank you, everyone.